In today's episode, we have got some reselling news, a weekly business recap, and some sweet what sold on eBay action. What is up, Galaxians? Welcome to another episode of Galaxy CDs, Rocks, and Flips. If this is your first time at the channel, my name is Ryan, and I am a full-time reseller, part-time YouTuber, and podcaster working out of my home here in the greater Cincinnati area. And this channel is all about the flip life. In today's episode, we will have a fairly healthy reselling news update. There's actually quite a bit going on in the world of reselling this week. We will have the normal weekly business recap, but we're going to kick it off with what sold on eBay. I've talked about this in several episodes that I try to be as transparent as possible. And when I do this segment, normally I'm showing you like the top 10 or 15 things that I sell. And we will still do that today. But I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to lead this off with, if you're watching on YouTube, you just saw an image pop up over here on the side of a $10 CD, a $12.50 book, a $15 book, and a model railroading magazine for $11.99. Those are all, that's kind of my bread and butter. I show you every week that top 10 or 15 items that are generally $20 or more. The bulk of my business, I do probably between 80 and 100 sales a week. Other than that top 10, the other 70 to 90 are things like this. $10 here, $15 there, those sorts of sales. So, when I show you those, big, the flip of the week, that's 80, 100, $500, those are great sales. And those are the ones that really make the difference at the end of the day between being profitable and not. But the bulk of my business and the bulk of my work is in this kind of sub $20 area. And it's 60, 70, 80, 90, sometimes packages a week. So I wanted to be clear about kind of what the shape of my business is. And if you've been playing along at home and you're any good at math, when I report $1,300 or $1,400 in sales in a week, and I've shown you 10 things over $20, that there's a huge number of lower priced items that I'm selling. But I did want to kind of show you what that looks like as we got into this, what sold on eBay. So you had a little bit better picture of what my business actually looks like. It is a lot of sub $20 items, most of which I own for well less than $1, in a lot of cases as little as 3 or 4 cents, as we've talked about. So there's still plenty of money to be made in those, but it's made in volume and it's made in packing a lot of little itty bitty shipments. So with that, let's get into some of the stuff that is maybe a little bit more fun. First up, from 1870, Plutarch's Lives. I've sold several different versions of this over the months. There were multiple versions in the big 2,500 book lot that I purchased. This was the oldest one, leather bound. As you can see, if you're watching on YouTube from the photo, not really in the greatest of condition. The cover was still attached, but it was pretty rough. The pages were reasonably good, a little bit of tanning, a little bit of foxing here and there, which you would expect from a book of that age, but overall in pretty good shape. This was printed actually in Cincinnati many, many, many moons ago. And someone messaged me over the weekend asking for the specific measurements of the book. What's the height? What's the width? What's the thickness of the book? I sent that to him, and an hour later, full price sale, $24.99 with free shipping. Next up, a CD, Paul Pena, New Train. This was a promo CD in a cardboard slipcase. If you can get those CDs that came in those kind of cases that still have those slipcases, that it definitely enhances their value a little bit. This went for $29.99 with free shipping. This was one of the ones out of the big lot, so I own this for less than 4 cents. Another CD, Prime Suspects, Guilty Till Proven Innocent. This was from Master P's No Limit Records back in 1998. There for a while, Master P was the shiz, man. Everything he did was golden. A lot of that stuff on original No Limit Records is out of print. So this went for $29 with free shipping. This is another sub 4 cent CD. Another sub 4-cent CD. I'm on a run here. $29.99 for Rotary Connection by the band Rotary Connection, another late 90s rock CD. This was sold through the global shipping program and is on its way to Germany. This was a really interesting piece. I bought a lot of 200 to 300 books. I paid about 50 cents a piece for them, and there was some random stuff tucked in there. One of those things was this Learning International Professional Selling Skills set from 1983. It was a kind of a cloth cardboard box full of workbooks on selling practices, how to sell, how to present yourself, how to overcome objections, all those sorts of things. I took a flyer on this thing and listed it for $34.99, free shipping, or best offer. I had a gentleman reach out to me last week. He offered $30 and he said, I want this shipped by UPS. I don't want it shipped in the mail because I've had bad experiences, as many of us have, over the last couple of months with the mail. So I said I would accept the offer and I would send him an invoice for what the total cost was with shipping. I calculated what it was going to cost to ship on UPS, calculated what the difference was between my free shipping offer and what it was going to cost me to ship. And I sent him a bill for $37.62, which he paid almost immediately. So I don't think I would go out looking for something like this, but if these things happen to show up in a lot of books that you get, it's worth taking a look. There was nothing like this online. There were no comps. There was no anything. So I really had no idea where to price it. I assumed that the demand was fairly low, so an auction really didn't make sense. So I took a shot at it at $34.99. I ended up making $30. I own it for, like I said, about 50 cents. So real nice flip for a very unusual piece. Another book. If you were here last Wednesday, lots of books about the Navy. This week, kind of the same thing. The Luxury Fleet, the Imperial German Navy, 1888 to 1918. So this is, again, World War I naval. This went for full price, $32.99 with free shipping. This is another one out of the big lot that I own for a quarter. Another book. This was out of the big romance lot that I bought last fall. It was one of those I think I had talked about previously. The owner of the lot and I went back and forth. He was going to try to sell them himself, and he didn't have any luck doing that. So he eventually came down to what my offer was, which was about, I think, 75 or 80 cents a book. I was really unsure whether they would be sellable or not. There were not a lot of comps. There was not a lot of activity on them. It has actually been a really, really good lot for me. This is another one, I Hear Adventure Calling by Emily Loring from 1948. This was an original hardcover with its dust jacket. It went for $34.99 with free shipping. Another book, Wilson's War from 2005. This was a first edition with dust jacket about the World War I era and President Woodrow Wilson's entry into the war with the U.S. Fairly scarce. I don't know why this book is in such short supply, but it went for $39.99 with free shipping. Another one out of the big lot that I own for a quarter. You're probably sick of hearing about these if you've been following along for months. More model railroading magazines. Model Craftsman magazine. The customer actually bought two different lots. He bought the Bound Volume 2, 1933 and 34. I think he paid $45 for that. And a lot of all 12 issues from 1949, which I think was $27.99 maybe. So a total of $72.99 plus shipping on these magazines. The model railroading stuff continues to do very, very well. And now, the flip of the week. This was a book that when I was rifling through the big 2,500 book lot, I saw this thing and I was like, this is not going to be worth anything. But sometimes you get surprised. Sacred Luxuries, Fragrance, Aromatherapy, and Cosmetics in Ancient Egypt. This was a hardcover illustrated book from 1999. I own it for a quarter. It went for a full price offer of $99.99 with free shipping. Just really a pretty remarkable. A lot of times you stumble on these big kind of coffee table picture books, And a lot of them just really aren't worth that much money. You would think they would be because of their size and the great photography and the full color and all the rest of it. And it just turns out that they're not. Every now and then you strike one like this that is essentially gold. So $99.99 free shipping from a quarter. And that is your flip of the week. With that, we are going to take a really quick break for our sponsors on the podcast. If you're listening over there, bear with the sponsors. A shout out to my man Timmy P for his continued support of the channel, and we will be right back. All right, before we get into the news, I want to do a quick weekly business recap. Last week was actually pretty solid. We'll start with listings as normal. I did 67 listings last week, which was up from the week before. I did, for those of you who have been playing along at home, I do these dealer trade drives. I was on the road a little bit last week, so I did miss a little bit of action there, but 67 listings for the week, so not too hateful. Sales for the week totaled $1,392 and 42 cents. So again, kind of right in the normal window, $1,300 to $1,400. I will give you kind of a new update and break down the sources of those sales. It's interesting. I talked about this, I think, a couple of weeks ago, what the huge percentage of my business is from eBay for last week. Bonanza, $13.77. My new antique booth over at the Westchester Antique Mall, $20.84, which is essentially right on target for what I need it to do for it to make sense to have it. So I'll take that. And eBay, $13.57 and 81 cents. So whatever that works out to, 98 probably % of my business is on eBay. But there are a couple of other tiny revenue streams, and I think the antique booth over time will probably be better and better. Cost of goods sold for the week, $35.46, so extraordinarily low, leaving me with a gross profit of 97.45% or $1356.96. So from a gross profit percent, just an outstanding week. I had really no extraordinary expenses last week. So if you were here the week before, I had the racks and the first month's rent on the antique booth and a bunch of extra stuff. This week, shipping and eBay fees essentially was all I had. The total operating expenses, $518.74, leaving me with a net profit of 60.2%. That's the biggest week I've had in quite some time for net profit, $838.22. So well within my stated target goal. So I'm very pleased with what the business looked like last week. And now we're on to the next one.
News updates.
So we got a fairly healthy news update this week. I'm going to start by just talking real quickly about eBay and their supposed seller protections for people during the fourth quarter that had late arriving shipments. They had said that cases that were filed for late arriving shipments, any feedback associated with those cases would automatically be removed once the case was resolved. I am not finding that to be the case. I don't know what your experience is. Let us know in the comments down below if you're watching on YouTube, or send me an email at galaxycds@gmail.com and let me know how that's working out for you. But I'm not finding that they are actually going back and removing those neutral and negative feedbacks automatically. Has that happened for you, or have you had to reach out to eBay? I've actually contacted them on a couple of cases and basically been slamming my head against the wall. I've gotten absolutely nowhere. In the scheme of things, for me, it's not that big a deal. I've got enough feedback that even with those handful, I'm at 99.9% positive. So I'm not sweating it that much. It's just another example of eBay promising sellers that they're going to do one thing and doing something else. With that, let's move into kind of the more traditional news. A report out from the BBC. I'm going to link down below, as I always do, to these articles. This one actually comes from The Sun. Over in the UK, online clothes sellers targeted by creepy men asking for sex as inappropriate messages boom during lockdown. The BBC spoke to sellers on Facebook, Instagram, eBay, and Depop, who revealed a worrying trend and one which has worsened during the COVID lockdown. If you're not aware, they are under very, very strict restrictions in the UK right now. During the lockdown, The messages have gotten really creepy, said one seller. She has been forced to stop putting images of herself on the site because of the crude messages asking how many times things have been worn and if they are, quote, dirty, unquote. She added, don't message me on an innocent secondhand website just because you can see a hot girl in the photos. Another seller said she gets several inappropriate messages each week, as well as explicit photos sent to her on Facebook Messenger. I get a lot of messages about the model, especially if there are shirts with close-up images. It goes on to say some of the women that the BBC spoke to did not report these messages because they were embarrassed, ashamed, or did not want to risk losing their accounts. And this kind of goes hand in hand with historically people who have been victims of sexual harassment or sexual abuse not reporting these things for fear of retribution on themselves, which is a really unfortunate state of affairs in our society. For what it's worth, Facebook, Instagram, Depop, and eBay all have said that they take these kinds of messages seriously and would take action against those who violated the policy. They, of course, urged all users to report and block any accounts which break these rules. Depop, for its part, said that it aims to respond to 95% of reports of inappropriate behavior within 3 hours during business hours. So hopefully they're able to clean this up. I doubt it, just given how pervasive it is, that they'll ever be able to totally eliminate it. If you have been the victim of this, if you sell on, Poshmark or any of the sites and model your own clothes, and you'd like to share your experiences, please feel free to do so in the comments. If not, I totally understand, but this is a problem that needs to be weeded out. And the only way that you disinfect things like this is to shine some light on them. So hopefully people will step up and at least report these kind of incidents to the appropriate authorities. Moving on with eBay. This is in the UK. You may recall back in the fourth quarter, we went through this whole drama again of item specifics needing to be added. There was a post on eBay UK that effective February 22nd, there will be new item specifics required in the UK. I could not find anything about the date that they're required here in the US. For some reason, it sticks in my head that all the ones that were going to be required were being delayed until February or March. You can let me know in the comments if I'm right or out in left field on that. But that's coming in the UK. So if you're over there, be aware of that. Be on the lookout. They, again, of course, hype the use of OptiSeller to find and update your listings that are in need of the new required item specifics. Speaking with eBay, there was another change to their system that, quote unquote, thwarts shoppers as it says they are searching too fast. Pardon our interruption. As you were browsing eBay, something about your browser made us think you were a bot. So the good news is that eBay is trying to crack down on bots. The bad news is that whatever it is they're using or whatever it is they've decided to do is affecting legitimate users. That's the message some users are getting when searching eBay. The problem began on Thursday, January 14th. The issue appears to be with Distill, a software that eBay uses to monitor their website for bots. It started for many eBay users on the 14th and seems to be due to some changed settings within that software. The full splash page that you get adds, you may just be a power user moving through the website with superhuman speed. You've disabled JavaScript in your web browser, or a third-party browser plugin such as Ghostery or NoScript is preventing JavaScript from running. Let me know if you've run into this. I have not. I'm generally only searching for an item here and there as I'm doing research, so I'm not power browsing anything. But if you are and you've had this come up, let us know down in the comments below. And the last thing for this week, some good news. I love good news. There's just so little of it these days. eBay for Charity has a record-breaking year despite the pandemic. Despite the challenges and stresses that people have been facing over the past year, we have seen some great acts of kindness. This includes how charitable and giving people have been. For the third year in a row, eBay for Charity broke all records, raising a total of nearly $123 million globally in charitable donations through the eBay marketplace. So fantastic news. Lots of money raised. Donations were up 10% over the previous year. More than $234 was raised every single minute through the platform, and 100% of those funds go back to the nonprofits. Last year, there were more than 21 million live charity listings that helped support a wide variety of nonprofits. So fantastic news. Good on eBay for offering this as an option. Good on sellers who are using it to contribute to charities of their of their choice, rather. Just a fantastic piece of news to end this thing on. As always, I want to thank you so much for spending a little bit of your time here with us today. If you're watching on YouTube and you dig this kind of content, do me a favor, smack that thumbs up button. Feel free to subscribe if this was your first time here and you liked what you saw, so that I am inspired to keep doing these. With that, we're going to end it for today. Have a great week. We will see you again on Sunday. And now it's time to sell. Thanks, guys. Hey, everybody. Thanks for spending a little time with Galaxy CDs, rocks, and flips. If you'd like to spend a little more time, there's another video in the upper right-hand corner. If you'd like to spend a lot more time, you can subscribe down below.